right, hello again. So, continuing on with the first section, we did yesterday mostly or all one-step equations, but they were adding and subtracting to really solve it. Today we'll be multiplying and dividing. So, again, remember your steps. Most of them won't apply today, but step 1, get rid of parentheses. Step 2, excuse me, combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. Step 3, do all adding and subtracting. Step 4, do all multiplying and dividing, again to both sides. So, the simple version of the problem would be that, and then 2 and x next to each other, that means multiply. So to go to the other side, I have to do the opposite of multiply, which is divide, and x equals 5. So here's one that I see some mistakes happen on, and it's because you're thinking like the rule is we do the opposite operation to go to the other side. So an operation is add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And so just like on this first one, the operation was multiply 2 times x, but then right here I divided by the same number. So 2 divided by 2 is really, there's a 1 right there, but we don't have to write the 1. Okay, so over here, on the next one, negative 3 and x are being multiplied, so I divide by negative 3. And it's again because I want this part right here to equal 1. Okay, and so the answer is x equals negative 4. The mistake that I see happen is we look at this and say, oh, the opposite of negative is positive, and we do that. But this part right here, that doesn't equal 1. That equals negative 1. And so really that's what you end up with. Okay, and that's not what we want. Okay, so when you're dividing, you're going to use the same number, or multiplying for that matter. Okay, so the other way that you'll see that's just a standard multiply problem, but so here's like a divide problem. Okay, here's like a big thing that I want you to like try to ingrain in your head. Fractions mean divide, and you'll see a little bit more in a minute, but fractions mean divide. This right here means x divided by 4. So to get rid of something that's being divided by 4, we multiply by 4. So the 4's reduce, and we just get x equals 24. Same thing if you're dividing by a negative, then to go to the other side, you're going to multiply by negative. So the negative 2 and negative 2, that reduces to 1, which is what I want. And then a negative and a positive make a negative. Okay, so a couple of the problems, they'll actually write it, like this. Let's see, m divided by 6 equals 8, or something like that. I don't know. I want you to rewrite it and then do the problem how we have. That means divide by 6. So I'm going to multiply by 6. Okay. All right. So, the title of this section is one-step equations. So in theory, you can do the problems in one step. But there's a couple problems like this. Don't freak out. Okay, so there is a way to do this in one step. This means times 2/3 times x. So you could divide by 2/3. So really, like I'm going to go over here to the side. So really, you're going to do 2/3 divided by 2/3. Like if you did that. And so when we divide with a fraction, we just did that last week. We multiply by the reciprocal. And so we would get 6/6 or 1, which is what I want. So instead of doing it like what I wrote over here in yellow, the way that you can really just do it is, because I want this to equal 1 over here, is you can just multiply by the reciprocal at the beginning and not have to like do that part. Okay, because then this is 6/6, which is 1. The 3's reduce and the 2's reduce, and you just get x. But then over here, you would have to do a multiplying fractions like problem. And the numbers are relatively small, so you could just multiply straight across. And then divide. So that, I don't know, to me that seems difficult for some of you. Some of you are going to get that and no problem, and I don't have a problem with that. Others of you, I think that's going to be difficult, and that's okay. So here's another way that I think you'll like a little better. It's just breaking the steps up into 2 steps. So fractions mean divide. I don't like the 3 on the bottom. That means divide by 3, so I'm going to multiply by 3. And so the 3's reduce, and I'm left with 2x equals 24. And then I could divide by 2 and get x equals 12 that way. It's one extra step, and it might not actually be even a little bit more writing, but you can see this 24/2 right here is also right there. So it's just breaking it up into 2 separate steps, but I think people like that one a lot better. Okay. So there is like this weird problem toward the end of your assignment that has something like this. A plus 5 pi equals 12 pi. Pi is just a number. So it really is as simple as I'm just going to subtract 5 pi and a equals 7 pi. Okay. Or a little bit weirder on this one. So again, 8 pi is a number. Divide by 8 pi. Oh, you know what? I wrote the problem wrong. In the problem that you'll see, you'll have like a 40 pi right there instead of just 40. Go back and fix that a little better. So when you actually do the division, 40 pi divided by 8 pi is just 5. And you can leave the answer like that, 5 equals x, or you could put x equals 5. I think some people visually like that one better, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so all multiplying and dividing today. Most of them are just one step. If you want to break up the fractions into 2 steps, by all means do it. I think I like it better myself even. So, okay. All right, so the assignment is out of the book again. It's in Canvas, right above the video that you just watched. The answers will be posted on my school website for you to check your own answers. And otherwise, we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.